Real quick guys, if you guys wouldn't mind, please be sure to consider going down your item shop and typing in BAY for your supported creator code, BEY, and then clicking accept. This will support me greatly and it will not cost you anything, so please be sure to do this, and let's get right into the video. Hey, what's up guys? Before I start this video, I just wanted to mention real quick that all of the gameplay in this video was gotten straight from twitch.tv/useCodeBay. Before this gameplay was on the channel, I streamed it live on my Twitch stream. I'm streaming live right now as you guys are watching this video. After you watch this video, please be sure to come down to my stream and watch me play some games. I'm going to be playing lots of competitive gameplay, champion level arena duos, pro scrims, and I will also be playing with subscribers sometimes and viewers who are watching my Twitch stream, so please be sure to come tune in. So if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering how to improve in your mid games. Mid games are absolutely critical to your performance in games, and you need to be good at mid games if you want to make it to the end game. Mid games are very important when it comes to rotations, very important when it comes to quick eliminations, and very important when it comes to getting some extra points that you may need in order to qualify for tournaments, or just gain some extra arena points that you need in order to get to champion or a higher rank in the long run. So the mid game is probably one of the most underrated. The early game is very well known for surviving and just getting those early game kills, and the end game is the most popular because that is where you get all your placement points, most of your elimination points, and it's the most fun in general. In my next video, I'll be doing a end game tutorial following the mid game, and this video follows the early game tutorial. These all come in a sequence, so I hope you guys enjoy this series these next few days. So how do you improve in the early game, and what do you do? All the footage you're watching in this video is exclusively early game gameplay, some of which comes from some of the early game gameplay that I showed you guys in my previous videos. In my next video, I'll be showing you guys the end game footage from many of the games in this video. So basically, in the mid game, what you guys need to focus on the most is three things. One, you need to be looting up and getting as many materials as possible, but you can't just be doing this in any way you want. The second thing that you need to be doing goes in sync with the first one. The second thing is rotating off of the zones and rotating on the dead side of the zone in a way where you place yourself in the perfect areas in order to not take damage, in order to get the best loot, and in order to maximize your potential for having to rotate less in the next upcoming zone. Essentially, for your rotations, you're going to be looking at hotspots on the map. You're going to be looking at what parts of the map you can move through that have the least amount of players, and you're going to be looking for which parts of the map are going to be the best for you to travel through. These can be ones that have loot that could possibly not be looted, areas where there have been no fights, or areas that have a lot of natural cover and mountains that you can use to rotate and not take damage from any opponents that may be on the opposite side. Now, in watching this gameplay, what you'll notice is that me and my partner right here ended up W-keying a lot of people during this mid game. This was an arena champion rank game. I deranked a bit, so it isn't over 6,000, but basically what we were doing is we were just pushing people, and what we were doing is we're doing it very intelligently. In this next footage that you're watching right now, what's happening is you're seeing me and my duo Noble in a competitive tournament, and what we're doing is we're basically running through zones. We got horrible zones, two of which were far from each other, but what we did was we stacked up on meds, we ran our way through, and my opponent and my teammate also had the grappler, which helped us run around the map, which helped him zip around and get me meds and basically get me what I needed to make it to the end. We also found opponents in the zone, and what we did was we pushed them very hard and aggressively. Noble was ahead of me, and he put a pressure on them from one side, getting their attention, and while he did that, I beamed the opponents that we were fighting from the side with disguised AR. This was a very thought out play, and it was something that we did purposely. It was not randomly. Me having disguised AR gave me the ability to do more damage, and gave me the ability to basically laser them while they were not paying attention, and Noble having the grappler gave him the ability to escape the zone quickly, because if I'm getting all the kills, I will be the one receiving the health. Me receiving the health gives me the ability to stay alive longer in the zone, and it gives me the ability to basically leave and survive. We also found a launch pad from one of them, which one of them placed, and we used this launch pad to get into the zone, and what you're watching right now is basically us entering the end game because of our very smart rotations and because of our ability to make smart plays and decisions based off of what we had, even though we were in a very bad position where the storm was doing 2 ticks and all we had was some meds and a grappler. What you're watching right now is some solo mid-game gameplay. This is directly after the early game, and what I'm basically doing is I'm pushing people and I'm getting eliminations to gain more points. If you're confident in your ability to slay out players, definitely go for kills in the mid game. If you're someone who's not confident, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to focus on rotations and avoid all the hotspots on the map. Any point on the map where a lot of people may land is a place that you want to avoid. Places like the Agency, places like Frenzy, places like Pleasant, and any agency location like the Shark or anything like that are definitely places that you want to avoid. Also, areas like Lazy Lake and others that many players tend to drop out for early game kills are ones that you want to avoid when you're rotating. Even though many players that have landed there have died already, there will definitely be a few players that are very stacked because of all the loot that they've gotten from those areas and from all the eliminations. And those players are most likely the better players in that area because of the fact that they've gotten the majority of the eliminations. And that is why you want to avoid those areas, because you don't want any of those good players or any of those stacked players pushing you if you're not a player who's confident in their ability to get eliminations, and you just want to focus on getting placements and basically being consistent with your placements to the point where you never lose points in arena, or to the point where you're gaining points every single game in competitive tournaments and game modes. What you're watching right now is me basically rotating into the zone but away from agency. At this point I've secured 3 kills, but I also want to get some placement points. So what I do is I approach the center zone, and once I get to the center zone, I stay there for a bit and I get the next zone because it's very close to me. I quickly rotate over to the next zone straight across, and I keep my eyes on these builds over here, and I also look over at the terrain around me. The good part about this location is that many players won't really look down because of how long the drop is, and basically it's a safe place to run through without having to really get shot at. And if a player is going to shoot at you, you can easily box up and play it safe. I also found a launch pad here, and I decided to basically take a look real quick and make sure there were no players around here. And once I did this, I used this free launch pad and built around it. By building around it, I secured it and made sure that this launch pad was mine, and basically I just got myself a free rotation over to the next zone. Securing rotations and things like this in the mid game are very important. Where you decide to box up can decide whether or not you will make it to the end game. If I am a player who has a launch pad, and I personally have one in my utilities, not one that's already placed by another player, I will most likely play it differently than other players will, because I don't have to worry about the next zone, so I may not move to center zone. I may decide to stay on the edge of zone to minimize the chances of running into other opponents and basically increase the chances of me surviving up to the end game. By using a launch pad, you can get to the center of zone or get to far zones easily, while also being able to get out of sticky situations. Another way you can use these launch pads, because you can get out of sticky situations, is by using them to W key opponents and using them to basically escape if things are going wrong. Just keep in mind that opponents could chase you off of a launch pad, so don't always rely on them to get you out of very bad situations. As you can see right here, I have to move to the next zone and I have a launch pad, so I go ahead and use this launch pad, move up to the top of the mountain, and I notice that there was a recent build on the right side here. So I keep my eye and I look for an easy rotation where I wouldn't have to waste too many mats or risk getting shot at. I decide to move to the top of this mountain just in case one of these players on the right side decides to shoot at me. This would give me a little bit more height, and it will get me closer to these trees and areas like this where I could use to farm up more mats in case I have to tunnel. Now, as you can see here, the second that I shot at the player in front of me, the player on top of the mountain started focusing me. This was not random or a coincidence. What happened was, as soon as the player on top of the mountain saw me engaging in a fight, they started shooting at me because they see me as a easy third-party kill, or an opponent that is distracted that they can take shots at without risking getting shot back, and while getting a large amount of time to basically shoot them because they're engaged in another fight. This is why you want to avoid these mid to late game fights as much as you possibly can, because everyone in the lobby is going to be skilled and everyone is going to be looking for chances to take picks, get storm surge hits, or just even maximize their chances at getting kills. You never know when an opponent is going to be weak. It could take just one shot to finish them, so it's always safe to be careful because people have this mindset and they're going to shoot at you no matter what if they get an opportunity. Now, as you're seeing here, I'm boxing up towards the edge of zone, which isn't always a smart idea, but the reason I'm doing this is because this is one of the smaller zones, so you don't know where the zone could end. And when I'm in this area, I can farm my mats back and I can basically get a large amount of materials to make me last longer, because more materials means more building pieces and more ability to basically be able to tunnel and tarp your way into the next zone. Now if I go a little bit more forward into this match, you can see that I did indeed get kills in this location because two opponents were fighting, and I took advantage of this situation to get some easy kills, replenish my materials, and also get a free launch pad, which will help me in the end game. And yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to watch my next end game video to learn how to play the end game, and I will see you guys in the next one.